Hi everyone, welcome to Maise's Kitchen. Today we're making the famous Jamaican oxtail. Okay, as you can see, the oxtail is already being washed and just ready for seasoning. Here we have all the seasoning that I will be using today for our oxtail. We have some soy sauce, which we're gonna add. And we have about 2 tablespoons of all-purpose seasoning. We have half a teaspoon, of black pepper. We have a bit of allspice that we're gonna add whole allspice. We have some red sweet peppers. And we're also gonna be adding some tomatoes, chopped tomato, dice. You can slice, whatever you want. And I have 3 sprig of thyme right here. I like this thyme, I like fresh thyme, but right now it's slightly a little bit dry, so about 3 sprigs. And here I cook with a lot of onions. I love a lot of onions, so this is about 2 medium-sized onions. I just love to use lots of onions because they give you a nice rich gravy, and everyone needs lots of gravy for their oxtail to eat their food with. Okay, so we're just gonna dig in. Rinse my hands again. My hands are clean, but I'm just gonna re-rinse them. You can use a spoon if you're not comfortable seasoning with your hands, but I'm comfortable seasoning with my hands, so I'm just gonna get in there. I remove my rings and my watch, so just gonna use my hands to bring it all together. So here we go, just binding all the ingredients together to get a nice coat on the oxtail. So during the cooking process, I'm gonna be tasting and adding more spice if necessary. But we don't want to add too much in the beginning because we don't want it to be salty. So that's my granddaughter in the background making all sort of noise. So now that we have it all binded, we're gonna just turn on our stove and max, and just let the pot heat for a bit. The thing with cooking oxtail is we won't be using any oil because oxtail naturally have a lot of oil, so the oil will cook itself. And during the cooking process, you're gonna see as I take some of the oil that springs from the oxtail. We don't want to eat that, so we're gonna get rid of that once the cooking process starts. Once it starts to come together, we're gonna skim the oil because nobody wants to eat that. That's big, really bad saturated fat, and we don't want that in our food. So we will be getting rid of that, and you're gonna be with me while I show you step by step how I do everything, and you're gonna watch how all of this comes together. Okay, so if you follow me over to the stove, we have our stove going. It's not very hot yet, but we don't need for it to be completely hot. We can put everything in. We're just gonna put everything in, and as the stove heats up, you'll see a scissor and watch everything come together. So I can just pour it all at the same time for time's sake. Okay, so this is I have a big family. So this is 5 pounds of oxtail that I'm cooking. So you might not need as much spice depending on what you're cooking. We're Jamaicans, we don't cook by measuring anything. We just eyeball everything. But for your sake, just to give you an idea of how much seasoning I use, then it's measured, with a spoon, either a teaspoon or a tablespoon. Okay, so now that our meat is in the pot, we're just gonna cover it and let it do its thing, and I'll come back and show you what's going on. Okay, welcome back. It's been about 10-15 minutes since you know, I put this in the pot. As you can remember that we had no oil, and as the cooking process continues, the oil will continue to just break down, and you'll be able to see the oil just rise to the surface as the longer the meat cooks. Okay, it looks like this now because there's no browning inside there. We're trying to get the natural flavor from the cooking process to give it its color, and you will see it takes more. It will take on a darker color the longer it cooks. But as you can see, remember when we put it in, it was a little whiter. But as it continues to cook, then you will see more color. Look, nice rich gravy already, and it's not even done yet. See how nice? Also, we had no water. Just by covering it, after you add all the meat, it springs its own juice, so you don't need to add water unless it's absolutely necessary. Okay, so how you get some color into your oxtail, when the oil comes, it's gonna start frying. The more oil you get, we're gonna let it fry a little, not burnt, just when it starts to stick to the bottom and it starts to get that nice caramelization, start to become nice and brown, start to stick at the bottom of the pot. That's what the caramelization is for. Then we're gonna add a little bit of water just to loose up all the nice nutrients and flavor from the pot, and then the color will start coming in and you will see more oil. But I don't use oxtail, I don't use oil to cook my oxtail because I like the gravy. And sometimes you go to restaurants and you order it, and when you order your oxtail, there's a lot of oil. So I don't like that, so that's why I cook it the way I do. Okay, I also add all my seasoning in the beginning. Just season everything, add my onions and my peppers and my thyme, everything in the beginning, because it cooks with the flavor, it cooks in the flavor, and it makes it taste like it's been marinated for days. Like, some people have to pre-season their meat for like at least 24 hours, but I don't do that, and you cannot tell the difference. This actually tastes better than some meat that has been, you know, marinated for days based off how I season it. And you will see, if you try this recipe, you should get the exact same result, because I'm doing nothing differently than I do here. So as long as you follow the recipe. Hello, welcome back. It's been half an hour, and we're gonna check and see what progress has been made since I last saw you. Okay, so as you can see, the stove is still on medium heat, and you see what's taking place here.
Looks so delicious.
You can see the oil is starting to form. We're gonna leave the oil on for now, but eventually we're gonna take it off because we need this also for flavoring. So we're gonna let it cook in its own oil for a bit, and then as it goes down, then we're gonna skim the oil. Okay. And now that you're back with me, I didn't want to add anything unless you see exactly what I'm putting in. So I told you that I'm not going to do anything without showing you what I'm doing. Okay, see how nice and rich this gravy is? You could actually eat this already. That's how tasty this gravy is. Okay, and if you come with me, remember that Scotch bonnet I had earlier that I didn't add? We're gonna add, it's a big pepper, so as you can see, I had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 slices. Okay, and we're just gonna add that in. And also, we're gonna add some paprika to this, and we're gonna put our stove on high. And we're gonna add just 1 teaspoon of paprika. Oops, that's a lot. Okay, so that's about 1 heaped teaspoon. Okay. Then we're gonna stir, and we put our stove on high. Now we're looking for color. We're starting to get some color, because we're trying not to do this with browning. Okay, we're trying to give it its natural color. Let the oxtail take its natural color. Look at this gravy. Can you see? Oh, look at that.
Wow, that looks so good.
So this is the trick to get a nice, delicious gravy, by adding all your spices in the beginning. So you can imagine all these spices are breaking down. As you can see, I pour it over the meat. This looks like it should be in your plate already. Right? I'm telling you, this is one tasty oxtail.
She's not lying.
And it's not even cooked yet. You're in for such a treat. You will see why Norma does it, or Maisie does it, the way she does it, okay? I cook like a pro. Pat myself on the shoulder. Yeah.
Not to be cocky, just a little confident, guys.
You know when you know that you know that you know?
And you guys can be just as good.
Look how
Stay
amazing
tuned,
this is.
like and subscribe if you want to be able to cook very good Jamaican food.
And this is done, guys, with no oil. No oil added. And you see how nice and colorful this is. And the flavor is there. Amazing. Okay, so we're just gonna cover this and let it do its thing. As soon as the gravy is reduced, because we want it to go down right down to the bottom of the pot, where you can hear that nice sizzle, you know, because we want to get now some brown color on our meat. So we're gonna let it come to a fry almost, and then we're gonna add a bit of water because we need that nice rich color. We're gonna add some water to get the glaze from the bottom of the pot, and also it's gonna give it some color. Okay, and that's how we're gonna get our color for our oxtail. I don't want to add any browning because the less processed stuff that we add to our meat, the better it is for us. And I'm trying to, you know, keep it as natural as possible. So, yum. Look how gorgeous this looks. Okay, guys, so gonna give it a stir so you see what's going on.
And like she taught me, make sure you stir from the bottom.
Make sure, because you don't want anything sitting at the bottom of the pot that's not completely stirred, because then you'll start to get your meat stick to the bottom and it will burn. Okay, so just also when you do this, you loosen all the flavors from all the spices, and I don't know, it just works. I can't explain to you why, but it just does, and it's such a difference in flavor.
Yeah.
So one trick too to cooking, regardless of what you're cooking, whether you're cooking chicken or oxtail or goat, it's so important. If you take a closer look, I'll show you what I'm talking about. You see this gravy? If I should just season the meat and leave all the onions and the peppers and don't stir it the way I do, you will not have this. So in the end, this is what we're going for. And you can imagine your oxtail being cooked in a gravy like this, a sauce like this, and it's just amazing. You know, it's just amazing. All this flavor is cooking into your meat. So all this nice thick gravy is going into the meat. It's cooking into the meat, so the flavors are there, and it will stay there. Even in the end, if you run out of gravy and you add a cup of gravy, you're still gonna have lots of flavor in your meat. Which I try not to add water to my cooking, because when you add water, it washes away the flavor. So I like when my meat is cooked and its own juice, its own gravy, produce its own gravy, because the flavors just pop and everything just tastes so yummy. Okay, so as you can see, we're getting some nice colors now already. And we're just gonna let it do its thing. We're gonna bring the stove. We have the stove and I for about 10 minutes now. So we don't want it to burn. You can see it's going down to the bottom. So we're gonna leave it until it's frying, and we're gonna cover it and just let it fry. We don't want it to burn or to itch, but when everything starts to stick to the bottom of the pot, then I will come and add a bit of water and put it on low and just leave it to cook for the remainder of the time. Okay, so I'll see you back here in about half an hour and show you what's going on. Okay, welcome back. As you can see, the cooking process continues. We're now within the just over an hour mark since I started cooking this oxtail. You can see we have some shrinkage, and the gravy has thickened somewhat since we were last year. Okay, the average cooking time for oxtail, I forgot to mention, is around 2 to 3 hours. So it's not unusual for oxtail to take a long time to cook, and that's something you have to be prepared for when you're cooking oxtail. When you decided to cook this meal, you know that you're in for some wait time. Okay, so it's something that you can't rush. You just have to take its time to do its thing. If you try to rush it, your meat will be too hard and it won't be enjoyable. So the best thing to do,
keep going,
is not to cook it when you're in a rush. Okay, this is not a meal that you cook if you're looking for a fast meal. This is something more like a Sunday dinner, special occasion kind of thing, because it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of your time to cook. At least 3 hours, and most people are looking for, half an hour meal, but it's worth the wait. It's just annoying. I wouldn't even try to bite into this yet because it's only an hour. So yeah, I'm just going to give the gravy a little taste to make sure that it's well seasoned. And at this point, at this stage, when it's safe to eat, you can see, come closer, the gravy is very thick. So that's when it's safe for you to taste. So at this point, I'm gonna taste it to see if there's anything else I need to add. And this would be the time when I add all my extra seasoning if I feel like it's needed, okay? So here we go. Perfect. The only thing I'd add to this right now, sorry, is a bit of pepper, because it's not that spicy, but because I have the kids that are going to be eating it and they, can handle the pepper, so I won't be adding anything more. And what I might do with this, I might add some lima beans. I haven't decided yet if I want to put lima beans or not, but that will be decided closer to the end. So it will be oxtail and lima beans, or just plain oxtail. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing, but either way, it's gonna be yummy. So at this stage right now, I'm just gonna bring the stove to medium heat, and I'm gonna turn it down and let it take its time and cook in its juice. Okay, which I'll tell you in a minute if I need to see, depending on how hard the meat is, I may have to add some water. Yeah, as you can see, it's still quite hard. Well, you could eat it, but I like my meat falling off the bone, so it's not bad actually. It's better than I thought. But some pieces seem to be a little bit harder than some, like this piece, a little bit harder. This one, so we bought, it wasn't just one solid tail, we bought like two different pieces, or two different tails. So I'm gonna add a cup of water and then just cover it in medium heat and let it cook for the duration of the time, and I'll be back when it's completely cooked to show you the end result. Okay, hi everybody, welcome back. We're gonna show you the continued process of the oxtail. As you can see, the oil has been formed. You see that nice rich color. You see the thickness of the gravy. So this is the process now where we're gonna harvest some of this oil and we're gonna discard it because we don't want that getting into our gravy. And now we've established all the color that we needed and we have that nice rich gravy. So now we're gonna, at this stage, add a little bit of water after we remove the oil, and then, you know, just let it simmer for another maybe 20 minutes or so, and then we'll be completely done. So this is how I remove the oil. Just use a spoon and just remove all the excess oil. If you take a closer look, you can see that majority of this is just oil, and you don't want that in your food. Nobody wants to be eating that. Not only that, whenever you get this in your food, you can't really taste the gravy, you can't really taste the meat because you have all this unpleasantness in your mouth. Okay, so I'm just gonna remove that. And this is another reason why I don't put oil in my oxtail to cook my oxtail. Some people do, but I don't, because it's really unnecessary. It produces its own oil, you know. So you see how many oil I'm removing. Okay, so that's more than enough. There's still a little tiny bit left, but we need that for a gravy. And remember, I was telling you about the flavor, all the flavor from the bottom. So now we're gonna add a bit of water. This is some previously boiled water. We're just gonna add a little bit to deglaze the bottom of the pot. And then we're gonna give it a stir, a nice stir, and everything else that's left will be a nice rich gravy. You see all that caramelization taking place at the bottom there. As it loosens, it gives a nice thick rich gravy, and this will be so yummy on your rice and peas, or your yam and dumpling and all that sort of good stuff. So as you can see, we have nice rich gravy. Even though I remove the oil and I place water, you can see what's left is nice thick rich gravy, because adding the seasoning in the beginning, this is what it breaks down to. A nice thick rich delicious gravy. Oh, yeah. And here you have it. Your oxtail is complete. And this is the final product. This is what you end up with in the end. Nice, delicious oxtail. And that's a wrap. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we're going to show you the finished product. Just going to serve it in a plate to show you what it looks like in a plate.
That looks so delicious.
Delicious.
I got distracted, guys. Sorry for that random shot just now, but
so look at this. So nice and rich the gravy is. So this is oxtail from Norma's Kitchen. So I hope you try this recipe. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment in the comment box, okay? So thank you for staying with me, and I'll look forward to seeing you on my next video. Take care.
Ciao.